Welcome to a dose of deeper contemplation. We have cultivated this self-healing practice as we navigate the many aspects of modern life with the desire to be a better human. As a psychic medium, these conversations are channeled, so let's take a walk together and talk it out. We were on a walk one night with our friend, and we were having a fun contemplation together about being artists. And the life of a creative is interesting, especially within the constructs of constant industry and production-based lifestyles, especially in a current time where creativity has become in itself an industry by way of content. What many experts in the content world say is just simply you will grow the more you post. We were discussing how this can be applied to really any industry or lifestyle that is creatively based. So for all you delightfully wicked artists out there who feel like they live and breathe their art, the message is more is more is more. Art and creativity could be very healing to our world right now because creative expression is all about individuality, being unique. What's unfortunate is that comparison has made its way into creativity. And at the essence of art, that is very contradictory to its own nature because everyone's art is always going to be different. And if that's its nature, how did we get so lost that we now judge it? We compare ourselves to each other and put ratings and judgments within those comparisons. The encouragement, artists, is to stop paying attention to the like button and simply become fully present with what you're here to create and share. The more we do that, the more we raise that frequency, the creative frequency. It feels that we are in a time where the artists are going to be the healers. What would be helpful for that healing is that we stop paying attention so much to the comparison and simply create more art, more sharing, more receiving. Create, share, receive. This is the formula of the artist. Create, share, receive. What's not working on that formula is, as mentioned, comparison. Just needed to mention it one more time if y'all haven't gotten it quite yet. So we'll share it just one more time. Stop paying attention to the likes. Be you fully expressed without any shields of fear. They aren't necessarily shields, they're blocks. And the fear of judgment can be a block for many of us. The fear of what others will think or say about the art that we pour ourselves into. A cure for that, because that can be definitely an artist block, is to not give a fuck. Simple. The prescription is don't give a fuck. Create for you. Share it. And if it vibes with someone, receive that. But to create less out of fear, that introduces the less frequency. Less is less is less. What's interesting is our own journey, the misunderstanding that there could be a less frequency and expect more frequency to match it. Your opposing frequencies, different levels on the spectrum, but very different energies, very different feelings. Our journey has been to at times do less out of fear of judgment, but expect more. I was sharing with my friend and relating this to social media. I found it very challenging to be in the more frequency with what I share and post on social media. However, when we do sit down and be still and let our creativity flow in order to share, we fucking love our own posts so much. We feel so good about the collection of images and sentiments and shares and stories and messages that have come together through the years of the posts that were all very much created out of intentionality. And the intentionality of our art is really love, to share love, the best feeling and frequency, some would say. I happen to actually feel more with elation. Elation to me, like if I had to pick love or elation right now, I'd pick elation. That's how I would describe it. Point being, I would love the creative moments for myself, ourselves, to post, but I was not doing it in the more frequency. I was not doing it frequently. Yet had the expectation and was confused as to why the following was not there. The expectation is that there would be more of a following, but more cannot match less. So if more of the following is desired, then more of the creativity needs to come forward. More of sharing ourselves with others will mean more connection. And if we remain in the example of social media, more connections, more followers also provides more fundage. More is more is more. Now, where it gets interesting is when we relate that to productivity. Productivity meaning working, which is different than creating for some folks. Working, being productive for industry, in service of industry, in service of making money. And that is very, very much needed in order to survive. In our own experience, we spent many years in the more of productivity. Do more, more work, more hours, more projects, more. And yet experienced less time, less fun, less money, which was a confusing one. Because if you work more, you're supposed to get more money. If you're in more frequency, well, where's the match to more? It was confusing. What this contemplation brought forward was the understanding that the intention behind the more productivity, the more work, was actually out of lack, out of scarcity, which is frequency of less. And that's how when more is less. In that regard, it's very interesting then to consider the different formulas. More is more, less is more is less is less. For ourselves, we've come to a place where we don't want this to be confusing for the universe anymore. Because those opposing frequencies, it's confusing. We're thinking there is a signal of more, but receiving less. Confusion. And the universe is like, yeah, because you're confused. You're confused. You think that having a lack mentality, and that if you just do more work out of lack mentality, you somehow overcome that. And it can be so clearly shown that doing less is not yielding more. Less is less. What's important for this understanding is to not see these as simply acts of doing more or less, but to see these as mentalities, as mindsets, as belief systems, as how we feel that more is a frequency, more is a feeling, less is a frequency, less is a feeling. What are we attracting? We ourselves love to attract more artists, more love, more harmony, and let more frequency come through that. The frequency of more love. Love as in not the romantic experience within a relationship, but love as a word that we use to describe the energy of all things in harmony. That frequency with intention passed out with more creativity, more art, more songs, more posts, more movies, more stories that are created in the intention for more peace, more unity, more love will attract more. In the song Season of the Witch, there is a lyric that says, within the season of the witch, the beatniks are out to make it rich. What we love about the genius of that lyric is that beatniks are poets, musical poets, and they share deep messages. As artists, there is a belief that should be dismantled. That belief is that if you're an artist, you cannot be prosperous or wealthy. That's already very much being dispelled to major media platforms such as TikTok and YouTube. But we feel there's still some folks out there that still need to hear this, because it was certainly a message that was around when TikTok and YouTube were not around. The reason why the world could be a different place if there were more artists, if the beatniks were out to make it rich, is because with that, wealth is power. And what the world be like where artists lead humanity. Thank you so much for joining us in this contemplation. This is Deep Dose, and we are Eden.